Welcome back everyone, my name is Echo. Today's video is this week's Minecraft Q&A episode. I fully enjoyed picking out today's questions because I'm only one person. I only have my own imagination. So it's really awesome reading your guys' ideas, your suggestions, and more importantly, reading your imagination. Now, if you guys have any more questions at all about updates, changes, or anything about Minecraft, leave them down below in the comment section. Recently on the channel, we've had a lot of discussions about the Nether. Does the Nether need to be updated? If you had the option between cave updates and sky updates, what would you like to see? So I'm going to be answering a bunch of questions today. Hopefully you do enjoy this. If you have any more questions, again, leave them down below. And be sure to thumbs up the video because this series is really awesome. So starting off with last week's question, always answer the question above me. I said, do we need a Nether update? 82% said yes, only 4% said no, and 13% actually said just a few changes. So it looks like everybody would like to see a Nether update. Now the following question, the first question we have today is coming from Evo's Gaming Show. They should add a new ore that you can only get in the Nether. You can get better tools and armors from there. That would be awesome. Now the reason why I like this question a lot is because in last week's episode, somebody commented saying, the only reason why I go to the Nether is because I have to. It's like chores, it's like taking out the trash, it's like homework. It's not really something that you want to do, but it's something that you have to do. So I basically asked you guys, do you have any ideas what they could introduce to the Nether which makes you want to go there rather than having to go there? And I think this question is absolutely perfect. I think a new type of ore or some kind of feature that would be great for the overworld that you have to go and get in the Nether would be a great addition, because if you go to the Nether, you're going there for a challenge. You're not going there because you want to. You literally have to. So great question. The next one's pretty long, saying yes, this is my list of changes Minecraft needs. A Nether update, new non-recycled reskin mobs, husk, strays, and drowned, options depending on difficulty to activate a first bar, a stamina gauge, temperature gauge, and special buffs depending on the types of armor worn and biome effects. Maybe even new foods, cooking system, and a hunger system rework that I won't even get into because I don't have the time to explain it. I could go on, but this is already more than enough anybody wants to read. Yeah, guys, try and keep the comments not too long, not too many characters, otherwise we'd have massive pages of people's suggestions. The reason why I picked out this one, guys, is because we've had a lot of discussion recently about new game modes, and I know for the updated Aquatic, they introduced a new well type, a new generation called the buffet setting. It's pretty crazy. I did do a video on it the other day, so there's definitely the option of more game types. Now, I don't want them to mess around with survival or creative too much, but I would love to see some new game types. The ability of activating a first part, a stamina gauge, a temperature gauge. These things would be specifically fantastic. A better idea, guys, if you follow my channel for a little while, I have done a Survival Craft 2 series. They have a lot of these effects, and I feel like if they were to introduce them to Minecraft, they could perfect them and make them a lot better, especially like the first bar, the stamina gauge, and the temperature gauge. They'll be fantastic. So I do agree with that. Thank you very much. Also, I like the fact that wearing specific armor in different biomes, like if you're wearing fully massive diamond armor, you become really hot and lethargic in like desert biomes and stuff like that, and you have to wear like leather clothing for the cooler biomes. Anyway, great question. The next one we have here says, Echo, I want to see a climatic update. Will they ever add tornadoes, earthquakes, and more? In default survival, this is never going to happen. The reason why is because we did get this confirmation from Jeb a little while ago. He said, I don't want to ruin anyone's builds, because imagine if you spend days upon days and weeks and months building something, all of a sudden, a tornado comes across and wipes it out. Again, it goes back to introducing specific game types where they could introduce like these natural disasters, tornadoes, earthquakes, tsunamis, and stuff like that. It could be a feature that you can enable the way you enable UHC, hardcore mode and stuff like that. So again, that was kind of related to the previous question, but it seems to be a very, very popular question that you guys want me to answer. Again, I don't want them to mess around with too much survival in terms of these, but they could definitely be options that people could enable. A question here says, I want a revamp update. They need to improve on the mobs and structures. They added things, then they just ignore them completely. I agree with this question. I would love to see some more revamping of the game itself. Like, they are revamping oceans, but there's a lot of mobs out there that I feel like could also be improved as well. Here's a bright idea, villages. I don't think villages or the village itself has been improved or fixed or changed for a long time. Now, granted that they did make some changes to the village itself by spawning them in different biomes, it's really not an overall change. It's more like block color changes. Like, for example, a long time ago in Minecraft, every single village used to be an oak village. Used to get oak villages in savanna biomes. I'm pretty sure they were in desert biomes. Maybe it was not just... I'm pretty sure it might not have been desert biomes. Anyway, I'm not too sure. But everything used to be oak and they changed it to the biome specifics. But the actual structure themselves need to change. Every single village is the same. Every single villager, they're basically the same. I feel like they should be biome dependent on the villages. You go to a desert village, you want to get desert features. You go to a savanna village, you get savanna features and stuff like that. So that's kind of my idea. Again, I'd love to see a revamp. Here's another example, polar bears. They were so hyped. Everybody was ready for them. We checked out the snapshots. We got the update. And now everyone's like, meh, they're just in the game. They're just there. You know, I feel like features need to have a motive and a reason for being in the game. But anyway, great question. The next one says, Q&A, will they enable riding dolphins? Now, this did have a couple of responses, but I'm going to answer it for myself. We're not going to be able to officially ride dolphins, but Mojang said during Minecon and a couple of Q&As, they want to give the ability to players to hold on to the dolphin's fin so it can take you along the water. We're never going to be able to ride it because obviously they have some things about like animal cruelty and Mojang and stuff like that. But we will be able to technically ride them by holding on to their fin, which I'm really curious to see because I feel like we've had phase 1 of dolphins in the snapshots and the betas, but we still haven't had all the features shown just yet, which I love dolphins. They are so much fun. They're a great feature. So I finally answered that question for all of you. The next one says, I have a question. What if new combat for Minecraft Bedrock can be turned on and off? Just like experimental and education. Great question. Why can't it? I don't know why. However, you guys might be a fan of Ant Venom. I'm a big fan of his. I watched his video not long ago, and he talked about the mechanics. He also talked about like why the Bedrock version doesn't have this yet. His kind of theory is that Mojang kind of regret it because the combat update was the update that split the community in half for the Java version. There is tons of people that don't mind it, but there is a lot of people that absolutely hate it. There is a massive PvP community and they absolutely hate that update. So instead of them introducing that update to the Bedrock version, they're just going to wait and probably try and balance that out. The reason why I believe they've not introduced this to the Bedrock version is because we don't have a version changer. If we get the combat update, the delayed hitting and stuff like that, then we have to play with that update forever. We can't change versions like the PC version, and that is probably why it's taking so long. Personally, I don't mind the combat system for survival, but for the PvP aspect, it's absolutely terrible. So maybe they should introduce the option to turn it on and off. That means servers can have the ability to turn it on and off. So great idea there. Maybe you guys should pitch that towards Mojang. Losing my voice. Next question, pretty long. For a cave update, I would like to see new ores for different biomes, but I would want to see cave plant life, and instead of the overworld mobs in caves, I would like to see different types of new mobs, like in a desert biome, you have mummies, but not retextured zombies. It would have its own shape. Then in a cold biome, you could have a type of wolf that's not tameable, etc. What do you think, Echo? I think this would be a good idea. I love the fact that you support cave life, plants, cave life, which would be fun. I just want to see some different biomes underneath the ground, rather than just seeing all the biomes above ground. And I like the idea of seeing different mobs underground that you don't see above ground. Rather than seeing zombies, creepers, and skeletons in caves, we could see something completely different that is only seen underground. Again, the Mojang developers, they have talked about a cave update, so I don't know what it is, but something in my head is telling me that the next update might be a cave update. But great question, and I love your ideas. The next one says, I'm disappointed with one thing about this update. they didn't change the fishing mechanics. A lot of people actually agree with this. I actually agree with this. We got the aquatic update, but we really didn't get that many changes to fishing. Personally, I really don't see that much of a reason to fish for fish anymore. The reason why you're fishing now is for the Nautilus shell, so you can create the conduit, which is basically the underwater beacon. They needed to introduce something so players want to fish. If I'm going to go and fish now, I can see the fish. So I'm going to go and kill a salmon, I'm going to go and kill a cod, and I'm going to collect them myself, rather than waiting while fishing. So, yeah. But what could they have introduced for fishing, guys? If they were to make some changes to fishing mechanics, what could they have introduced to make it where players wanted to fish rather than having to fish? I like that question. Thank you very much. The next one says, a lot of games are famous, like Five Nights at Freddy's and Fortnite and God of War, because of their game mechanics and storyline. But what Minecraft needs is more mechanics. I don't think you can compare those games to Minecraft, but I do agree with the more mechanics. This was talked about in my last video. There was a lot of questions saying, I'm glad that they're making changes to the swimming mechanics. They definitely do need to introduce some more changes to the overall mechanics. Like, I don't know what else they could introduce. I mean, we've got a new swimming mechanic, but what other mechanics could they introduce to the game that could be improved? Does running need to be improved? Does throwing need to be improved? What other game mechanics do they need to add that make a massive game change? Because swimming, it's a massive game change. And again, somebody did outline this. We need more mechanic changes. And we've had some changes to water as well. So I feel like these are important things. These are like things that people go, oh, I can explore something new. Does this work with that? Does that work with that? So fully support what you said in terms of they need more mechanics, but you really can't compare those games to Minecraft. Another question here says, hey Echo, will Mojang add new shape for trees? Because trees in Minecraft is kind of odd for me. I mean, oak trees, spruce trees, birch trees, I think they're very similar. You've got, I mean, the trees don't look too much the same to me. However, I got something really interesting to share with you. The other day, Dinnerbone did tweet this, saying I should start a blooper Twitter account. In other news, there is no Minecraft water blocks in this world, and that's why trees and flowers are taking a bath. This should be something introduced to the game. The ability to have water through leaves, through plants and stuff like that. I actually responded saying, this is so awesome, maybe a new biome type. 73 people liked it. And then somebody responded saying, flooded plains. I was like, yes. How cool would that be? I think that would be awesome. So the possibility of seeing that could be the next big change. And again, this is why new mechanics are fantastic, because not only are we exploring new things, the developers are exploring new things. They're messing around with the water mechanics and go, that's a good idea. Let's add that to the game. So one feature can lead to a new thing, so on, so on, so on, so on. So that's all the questions we have for today's episode. Truly a unique set of questions. Thank you everybody who leaves the questions every single week. Guys, any more questions you have, leave them down below. Take care, stay beautiful, have a great day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!